Welcome back to Good Goal or Bad Defending Champions League edition. We're doing Real Madrid versus Chelsea today. Fat Frank is going to screw Chelsea up somehow. But here we are. We're watching the first goal with Real Madrid. They are at home, Real Madrid, so I did expect them to win anyway. Let's have a little look what goes on here as they start to knock the ball around. Let's freeze frame right here. If you don't know, Chelsea play with a back a million because their two centre backs aren't good enough, so they play with three. A lot of that is because Thiago Silva is he's getting too old, and yeah, I mean they're all over the place, quite frankly, defensively, generally in games, but they're looking okay here. I'm not quite happy with that space there. There's no Chelsea midfielder in that space there. That would be where the Chelsea midfielder probably wants to be standing, somewhere in there. And the problem when you've got your back a million is you're always struggling to have players in the midfield. But don't worry, nothing bad happens if you don't have any centre midfielders in football. Let's play it forward, find out what happens. Oh, look, in that massive acres and acres of space that we just drew a second ago, it's actually much bigger than we thought it was. Don't worry, it's half the field. There's a little chip ball played into here. Okay, so we've got a left back, a centre back, centre back, centre back, right back. There's our defenders. He could have actually stepped up and just tracked him there. He's not going to because the whole system is kind of skewy. So that basically means we've got 3 Real Madrid players and only 2 are marked by 5 players. So technically on the Chelsea side, we've got 3 players doing nothing. Let's see what happens as we roll it forward. A little dink ball. All of a sudden now, let's just rewind that just ever so slightly. Ever so slightly. This is where we want to be. Okay, well, let's have a look. We got 1v1 there. We got 1v1 there. Got another centre back doing nothing. Okay, so he's got a choice here. And you see this quite a bit. And I honestly, I don't coach this way and I can't stand people doing it. They go and mark the player and ignore the ball. His eyes are firmly fixed on the ball, which is fantastic. But these are the dangers here. This is a lovely little floating ball. Let's play it forward, see what goes on. Now you see, as I go, Koulibaly had to do a turn. This is my point. So if you see Koulibaly right now, his body shape, his shoulders are here, and he's facing this way. The problem is, there's no one for him to be marking here. So when I'm saying you need to be turning around to body this guy here, you actually just need to almost to be facing him. So what he does now is he does a little ballerina pirouette as the ball comes played across. Have a little watch when he goes it. Woo! Pirouette. So now the player that he could have been marking, if his body shape was correct, he can't. Because he wasted all of his time doing his little pirouette. Now that guy's just ghosted him behind him. And he's tapped it in the goal. Terrible defending. Absolutely terrible defending. That's a little dink ball that's been beating 3 people. And it goes down to Koulibaly's player shape. Look at it one more time. He is completely facing the wrong way. His shoulders, even though he's looking this way at the ball, his shoulders and his hips are going this way to nowhere. Yay, you're brilliant. This guy gets paid to play football. You know that? He gets paid to play this game. He doesn't bother to look at, it's called Karim Benzema. He's a bit of a good striker. If you ever look him up, he's not bad. He's a bit tasty. He might be a bit old now, running around in a wheelchair. You don't have to be that fast, but you need to be facing the way he is. As we play it on, and it's in the back of the net. So as you can see there, that is definitely bad defending. It all goes down to Koulibaly, he wastes all of his time doing that little pirouette. So when I do coaching courses and teaching people to coach, one of the things I harp on about more than anything is body shape, is where the players are facing, how they're facing that way, why are they facing that way. First touch technique, you can clean all that up. But if you don't have players that know the simple things about why and where they should be looking on the field at what times, you're always going to have problems. All right, let's get on to the next goal and see what happens. Here we go for the next goal here. Obviously, there's a lot of pressure in the box here. Chelsea's defensive shape isn't too bad because you really... well, actually, it is. It's bloody awful when I actually look at it. The reason why I said it wasn't too bad is because I actually saw the 3 centre-backs with spaces in between them. So they weren't like clustered all together. There's a little bit of gap between them. But then I looked at, the lack of midfield, the lack of forward plays, the lack of pretty much everything. When you look at Real Madrid, they're actually in some sort of shape. They're spaced around. One of the things, if you look at the Chelsea team right here, there's so many people doing the same job. Right? And that's kind of what you get when you play with a modified back five. It's awful. You've got 3 players on 1, 2 players on 1, 2 players on 1, 2 players looking for a picnic. And I know they're down to 10 men. Oh, they are at this time, by the way. I can't remember what happened. It was, something dumb. But here's the issue. When you're defending your box, see this space here? That's kind of where you always want to have a player. And the reason why I'm drawing it this way is because the ball's coming from this side. The pass is coming from this side. If the ball's on the other side, you want to think about that space being a little bit further over to the left-hand side to be about sort of there. But you always want to sort of have the D in it. This is always between the D and the penalty spot in this sort of square here is always the danger zone where I'm colouring it in. Look at my colouring in skills. Fantastic. I give myself definitely a 9 out of 10 for that. 9 out of 10 for the colouring in. So let's have a little look as we play this forward. And the reason I'm highlighting that space is because you can see how deep. I know they got 10 men, but again, bad coaching. Any sort of proper midfielder or any intelligent coach is telling you to have someone there because the ball ends up in that spot all the time, so you can easily clear it. You have to defend it again afterwards? Yeah, probably, but you have to clear the ball and it has to be in that space. Or whack, straight in the goal. And that space I'm telling you about, that's the reason why this ball can travel across here. You can see the ball right here. You can see it just travelling across. There's no one forward. These 2 clowns over here are now trying to run and pressure here. But it's all too late. All too late. And it comes from coming too deep, panicking too much, playing with 5 at the back that ends up getting you a man sent off, and now you don't know what to do. Terrible defending again, but I expect a lot more of that under Chelsea with Frank Lampard. It's going to be funny for the rest of the season. So I'm kind of upset because Chelsea could have taken it home at 1-0 and actually done a good job and maybe even got something from it. Now Real Madrid is just going to sit back and wait and the tie's going to be over. It's a waste for Chelsea. It would have been a good opportunity. But I'll see you next time on Good Goal or absolutely terrible defending from the clowns in the Premier League.